Okay, I have to get some tooling done today, but the first thing I wanted to do is get a little bit of practice in. So I went ahead and found this piece of scrap leather, drew this simple Sheridan style floral design on it. And I'm gonna go ahead and carve and tool this out just to get a little warm up in before I start my big projects for the day. But I wanted to mix it up and try something a little bit different for this. I am going to attempt to carve and tool this design with nothing but my beginner basic tools. So this swivel knife and pretty much every single one of these stamping tools came in my very first Tandy beginner kit when I first started a few years ago. There might be one or two in there that I picked up at Hobby Lobby, but they're still just my very first basic tools. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. I do use a few of these here and there on my work today, but most of these tools I haven't touched probably since I started. So I don't know what it's going to turn out like, but I wanted to bring you guys through the process and just kind of get your opinion on what you think the finished product is. And I'm going to go through and talk a little bit more in depth about each tool when I actually get to them and use them. I don't even know if I'm going to use all these tools here, but I just wanted to grab all of them just in case I needed them. This is about 4 to 5 ounces. This is just a little scrap piece of Herman oak that I found in one of my bins, but it was perfect size to put this layout on. So let's go ahead and get started. I got it cased up. I'm about to carve on it. Let's see what we can do. Okay, the first thing that I noticed is that this beginner swivel knife is not near as sharp or smooth as the Berry King swivel knife that I typically use. And I actually even tried to sharpen this up some before the video to help that out a little bit, but it's just not a higher quality swivel knife. It will still obviously get the job done, but my cuts aren't as deep as they usually are, and some of them are a little bit choppy compared to what I typically like to have. The very first thing I'm going to do is take this flower center and just kind of get an outline of where I want that to be. That way I know where I can run my bevel and where to not take it. Now, I don't know if this came in my beginner kit or not, but here's the numbers on it. If you can see that, it's just a very basic flower center. I don't want to leave this too deep. I just want to get a pretty much just an impression of where that will lay out in the end. That way I know where to work off of pretty much. Typically, the very first thing I like to do after I carve is go right into my beveling. This is the only bevel that I have, and that is because it is what came in that beginner kit. It is a checkered beveler. It is Z-B701 is the number. Just pretty much the most basic bevel that you can get. It's going to be weird just having this one size, making it work for everything, but I used to do it, so I know I still can. Let's just make it happen. All right, we're wrapped up with the beveling on this project. That should hopefully be the longest part of this process. We got a really good burnish out of this tool. Here's a better view of the tool I was using, if the camera will focus on it. As you can see, it's got the checkered texture to it. And again, the number on that is Z-B701. So now we're gonna move on to the rest of the work. I'm probably gonna restamp these flower centers and then go through and do all of my shading and detail work. And then we're gonna do the backgrounding and hopefully it'll turn out looking really good. All right, so the next step is going to be shading, and I have this checkered pear shader that is numbered Z-P217. So first thing I like to do is get a little bit of shade around this flower center, and then I'm gonna go back and reset that flower center. Okay, now that we got some shading added to the pattern, I'm gonna go and put some mule's feet in here now. And this is the mule's foot stamp that I have. It is lettered Z-U853. I just have a little cedar that I'm gonna add to a few places. My God, Ethan, Z-S706. There we go. Come on now. I'm gonna go ahead and get the backgrounding out of the way. I just have this little checkered teardrop shape backgrounder tool, and it is Z-A104. All right, now I'm gonna take this veiner and just add some detail to this leaf right here. Z-V407. As we wrap this up, I'm going to take this swivel knife and go add some decorative cuts on here now and hopefully give it a little bit more flow and detail to make it just pop a little bit better. Okay, here's the finished product. It's nothing too crazy, but I'm actually surprised that it turned out this well. I didn't really have high expectations. The limitations of those tools make it pretty difficult for me to bring out the style that I've somewhat developed over the past couple years, but it doesn't look bad, honestly. Here is a piece of work that I did right after that probably shows a better representation of what I do now with the tools that I use now. It's just a little bit, the impressions are a little bit deeper and more crisp because of the higher quality tools, but you can still get away with making some really good looking work, in my opinion, with just beginner, inexpensive tools. Pretty much every single tool used on this was probably only like $6 or $7 at Tandy or some other Leathercraft store, whereas most of the tools that I use to do this are going to be anywhere from like $35 to $55. So it can get really expensive really quick. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you are getting into this craft, don't just dive in head first. Make sure that you build a good solid foundation and work off of that. And then as your business or hobby or whatever allows, then start working your way up. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. This was just kind of a fun experiment and I wanted to bring you guys along and get your opinion on it. So let me know what you think in the comments on this. And if you haven't already, please make sure that you like the video and go subscribe to my channel. We are growing, we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. I wanna hit that goal before the end of this month if possible. I really appreciate all you guys for watching, but until next time, we'll see you.